Welcome back to my channel. I am excited to talk business with one of the founders that started multiple businesses and finally just took off. Okay, so it takes partnership sometimes. It takes whatever it takes for that. So we're going to go into some of the partnerships, and we're also going to talk a lot about lessons learned. Why me? Why now? And why this? So those are things that we're going to get into. I have no idea how funny this is going to get. I have not ever gotten a very long conversation with this man. But anyway, welcome, the one and only.
JD Miller. JD Miller, and I'm with Idaho Residential Rehabilitation, and I've done multiple businesses at this point. The first few that I didn't really work. I mean, when I say work, I mean I didn't get a huge payout or make a ton of money. But I don't consider them failures because every single one I think I learned. You know, I got a business degree in business finance, college, but that took me 4.5 years. And it's sad to say, but I think that the first business I did right after college, I learned more in that small time frame of 6 to 12 months than the entire time I was in school. So
That's insane what on the job training does. I have got more views than all these guys that went to marketing school. It's because I literally just post authentic content. I be myself. You guys hear me stutter, you hear me glitch, you hear me trip, and you see the failures. Like, I've been at this for a while, just being consistent with this, and that is a really good point.
Yeah, can I ask how long you've been consistent doing this?
4 months.
4 months,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm doing about 3.5 million views a month.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's good.
On just Facebook. And another 1.5 million.
So consistency pays off, right?
Yeah.
That's a lesson.
So, guys, and also positivity pays off. That is another thing. So, just give back to the community. Video yourself giving back to the community, and things like that. But that's enough of me giving advice. Let's turn it over to JD. What in the world got you into business in the first place? Did you work for someone?
Are you talking about my industry specifically, or just business in general?
Way up when you started work for yourself.
So, I always knew I wanted to be a business owner, and that's because I grew up pretty poor. My family kind of lived from trailer house to trailer house. We even had a house that we called the crack house. That was like, I slept downstairs in the cement basement, and you'd go downstairs and there'd be spiders on the walls, and you'd kill hobo spiders every day. You know what I mean? And so I just remember thinking like, we didn't really, and even though my parents were fantastic parents and we always felt loved, we always had food on the table, we always had a Christmas, but it's like, we got told no a lot because we couldn't afford it. We can't afford it. And I just remember thinking as a kid, like, man, I don't want this lifestyle when I get older. I want to be able to afford things. I want to be able to, provide for my family and be able to do fun things.
Yeah.
And so, I knew I wanted to get into business, and even I remember as a kid, like the Pokemon cards.
I don't know them, but yeah.
Okay, but your viewers probably know.
Yeah, these guys probably know.
Like the first Pokemon cards that came out, they have like regular, just plain ones, and then they have special ones that they call like hieroglyphics or special edition.
Okay.
And I used to like take gel pens and like color in the back of the plain ones so that I could trade for more, like and say they were a rare, special edition, so I could get more in return. And that was like a first principle of business. Even though I don't know if I consider that necessary. I was in 5th grade, so I didn't know what I was doing, right?
Sure.
But like that was kind of a thing to like get me into business. And so when I got into college, I knew I wanted to do business. I just didn't know what I wanted to do yet.
Okay, I take it all back. I recently heard Pokemon cards are trading for an insane amount of value if you get rare ones.
Yep.
So, as an investment at your own risk, look into what's called a Pokemon card.
Yeah.
Buy and sell.
Right.
Let's touch on. That's the exact story that every other entrepreneur has, right?
Yeah.
What mindset switch? How old were you when you switched from working for somebody to quitting your job, going on a limb, breaking that cycle, and I know everybody's going to say this is going to be the same story, but I'm saying uniquely, were you sitting somewhere? Did you get fired?
No, so that's a great question, actually. And so I worked at the post office when I was in college.
Okay.
And so I was mostly trying to do online classes. I'd work in the day and do online classes at night, right? But the post office, man, like it's just, you as an entrepreneur, you see all of these things that can make the post. If it's like if they did this, it'd be so much better. They'd make so much money. You know, it's easy changes, but it's run by basically bureaucracy from a
closed-minded people.
Yeah, or like they just don't want to change, right? They're set in their ways. This is the way we do it. And I just remember thinking, like, after so many years of that, I'm like, this is stupid. Because also, it doesn't matter how hard I work or what I do differently. I'm getting my hourly pay, the same, whatever it was back then, $15 an hour, $14 an hour, right? It's probably a little bit more now, but still, I was getting that regardless of how smart I was or what I thought we should do differently.
Yeah.
Couldn't change it. And so at that moment, I'm like, I need a job where if I work harder or if I work smarter or if I do things differently, I will get return on that. I'll get paid more. I'll make more. And so that pushed me into the industry of insurance. And I became an insurance agent, worked for a broker.
Commission-based.
And commission-based, right? So it's like, okay, there's a little bit of return. But I learned on that. So I wasn't at a certain place. But after about a year into that, I go, this is good. But here I am again, busting my butt. And I get
trading time for money.
Yeah, I'm trading time for money. I get a certain commission, but meanwhile, while I'm doing that, the owner of the brokerage, he would also get just as much commission, which you probably see in real estate.
Absolutely.
You have your broker and your realtor, right? And so again, I got to the point like, man, this dude is going on vacation every month with his family, and here I am again, busting my butt, and I'm doing all the servicing, and I'm doing all the work, and I'm giving him half my check. And so I'm like, I got to go out on my own.
Okay. You mentioned you have to work harder and smarter to start trading value for value in society instead of hourly for dollars.
Yeah.
The hardest working people on this entire planet are the lowest paid people.
Yeah, that's true.
The smarter that you said earlier, just a second ago, smarter is a big thing. Mm-hmm. How do you outsmart the system? How do you make the system? Or flip this. I think Robert Kiyosaki said, "How do I switch sides of the banker table?"
Sure.
That's exactly what he said.
Sure.
And so when you quit, how did you go? First off, you probably was broke when you switched because you didn't have any money.
Right.
There's no sales. Insurance, you can just get up in the morning and make 3 sales in a day, and then kind of chill at night.
Right.
But once you quit that, it's like you're shaking and you're scared. What do you do? Or what did you do?
Well, so there was a book that was kind of pivotal to my change. Maybe some of your viewers know it's by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Work Week.
Dude,
have you read that before?
Absolutely. Listen to that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that, and I was a big Tim Ferriss. I still am. I don't get to listen to all of his podcasts now, but I remember when I read it, and I've read it multiple times. But it changes the way you think about time, money. Again, like that was a big thing to me versus going to school. Like reading that book. And I would recommend anyone that thinks might be an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, read that book.
Yeah.
Because if you're really an entrepreneur, it will motivate you to put forth action.
I feel like there's a phase, and I'm young, super, super new at this whole business thing, and I'm going to be the first guy to tell you that, but I feel like there's a different middle ground. So there's working for somebody else, there's working for yourself, and then there's having other people work for you. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. That middle is 80% of all businesses, or 95% or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point
too. You switch from employee over to a hardcore entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I call it entrepreneur. I don't know what it means. Small business, maybe. I don't know what I'm trying to exactly what describes what I'm talking about. But once you're in that
mode,
a
solopreneur when it's like just you
or even a partnership. But I'm saying when you're grinding, to where the time you switch it over. So I own real estate. Mm-hmm. So I play both roles. I play employee on the operator seat in my excavator.
Right.
And then I play business owner in the grind of owning the business. And then I play investor as a guy who owns real estate that I don't have to work at. Right. So I play 3 phases in life.
Gotcha.
And you likely play 3 phases because you likely own some stocks.
Yeah.
Right? So that's passive, active, and then like active for someone else.
Yeah.
Right? When you switch from you said entrepreneur like has to switch into hiring someone else, but I'm a young guy, so I'm constantly looking at this and I'm thinking there's a middle ground, and it's where everyone gets stuck.
Yes.
It's where everyone thinks they're making progress.
Yes.
Like
so let me just add to that, right? So the way to make real money, when you kind of figure out, I'm an entrepreneur, and maybe if you got some things under your belt, you know what you're doing. The way to really make money is you either have to duplicate yourself or you have to duplicate your time, right? And you do that through other people, right? You get other people, and that basically frees up your time, right? So now you have more time, and then you train them, you pass on your knowledge to them, and that duplicates yourself. And if you can do that, that's when the money machine starts printing, right? You can do it correctly.
Especially if you have
and like
integrity.
we were talking about earlier, when you treat them the right, treat your people the right way, it just compounds itself.
Yeah. So integrity in the business, like he mentioned it. Our focus in business is to take really good care of my staff, so that they, by nature, they will automatically take really good care of a customer.
Yes.
I just spoke with your business partner. He was sitting in this seat, and we talked about trust and transparency in business. We talked about partnerships, how to hire people, and I mentioned on a different pod, you are exponentially more likely to hire a team if you're already a partner.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing called trust that you can't break. You can't get over the fact that you can't. Most people think they can't trust someone else with their brand, their integrity.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm missing the word, but they have a public name. Everyone has responsibility.
Sure.
And credibility is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So you could burn his credibility, and he could burn yours.
Yes.
So your ability to trust each other and build a relationship is exponentially more likely to hire a third person for something that neither of you are good at, right? Yeah. Versus a single guy is thinking, I'm the best at my taxes because I want to be aggressive. I'm the best at whatever. And so I sat, and again, that's what brought me back to that, as you said, hire the right people, scale the business, and it brought me right back to that conversation.
And I don't know, like personally, this could just be my thing, right? Is I don't necessarily recommend people do partnerships because I've been in a couple, right? And I'll be honest, like it hasn't gone great. The nice thing about being yourself is, again, you can make all the decisions. It's up to you if you want to take the risk, whatever. You don't have to, have a conversation with someone you come to agreement on, right? But I will say the time that I would recommend a partnership is if it's like me and Spencer's, our partnership, because he is literally the best partner I could ever ask for. And the reason why that is well, for two reasons, I guess. One thing that Stu talked about earlier today is when you have a good partner, you'll already have values that you align on, that you kind of agree on. So our values align. But the second thing is all of my weaknesses are his strengths. And all of his strengths are my weaknesses, or for the most part, majority.
Sure.
And so we just complement each other so well. And so I would not, you don't want to I'm the sales guy, I'm the marketer. I don't want to be partners with someone that's a sales guy and a marketer, right? Because a lot of the times we're going to knock heads or we're going to have differing opinions, right?
Yep.
Spencer is very organized. He is very operationals based. I'm kind of the let's take some risk and do some wild things because I want to bring some money in, right?
He told me.
He told
me you just pack him up on the backpack and dip. So it's pretty neat to see. Back to growing or quitting your job, starting your business, scaling it from then till now. How I actually want to talk about partnerships more, but let's finish up that quitting your job. What was the day, the emotion that you listened to Tim Ferriss' book or read it, and then did you quit then?
No, not necessarily, but it caused me to change the way I was thinking, right? And I'm very much, I still think things out, even though I'm a little bit of a bonehead and kind of take a lot of risks. You want to take calculated risks as an entrepreneur. What is my lowest, this will be risky.
Worst case.
How can I mitigate the risk? And I'm sure you've seen this, right? So again, like the first business I did was a jerky business. It was a white label jerky business. At the time, I didn't know what a white label company was, right? Okay, and maybe your viewers don't know, but that's when you kind of, like you come up with the logo, you come up with the design, you come up with the sales and marketing scheme, and then you find a production company that can help with like the making of the product, and then we'll package it sometimes as well, right? But you're taking care of the sales and marketing, the shipping, and all that other stuff, right? And so that was the first company I did, and it really only cost me between about $3,000 to $5,000 to get everything set up the way I wanted to do. And for my first, I had to do a first order of minimum quantity order and stuff like that. But I knew that I could sell because I had confidence in myself, I'm like, oh, I could go to trade shows or whatever, you know, and I knew I could at least break even or get close. So I'm like, I'm mitigating the risk on this, right?
Yeah. When that is insane. You said the white label. I was like, I'm instantly thinking about this drink I want to invent. You know, and I'm saying I'm going to be calling JD next for what did you learn? What did you learn so that I can just take from where, because you probably took it to 80% and then it canceled. I could take it from 80 to 100 and still take your license.
Yeah.
You know. So when you quit your insurance, it was basically you were already commission based. You were already
commission based. Well, and I actually had gotten another job. And so I got another job, and I told the owner of the brokerage, I said, hey, I'm just going to do insurance part-time. I was kind of miserable, right? And I can't remember what I told him, but I ended up getting an hourly job again, just so I could get away from that.
Yeah.
And then once I did that, I applied to get my agency and all that stuff set up, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of did it that way. So I still had a secure and safe, at the time, 9-to-5 job, which was, again, it's kind of unusual for me to go the secure and safe route, but I was young, I was married, I had a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't ready. Again, it was my second real business. I didn't just want to take the leap right then and there. Right now, I might be a little different.
Yeah. So I took, when I quit, I ran the math. Hourly wage times maximum hours worked without running myself out of energy. And equals maximum amount of income that I can make, regardless of value that I add to society. Because if I get distracted at the business, then I'm no longer focused on scaling the business for the owner, and therefore then I lose my strategic edge in the business and I lose my job.
Yeah.
Or I focus, I hone in and focus, grow their business for them, and then in corporate you can get a little bit famous, and then when you quit, you can tell people you quit. If the corporate company doesn't shadow ban you immediately, you know. So, growing your business, if you were to learn, why do you feel like you are in, let's move all the way up to this business, active business that you're in.
Okay.
So, why me? Why this?
Sure.
And why now?
Okay.
So, first off, why are you in this business versus me? What do you have? And I want you to brag all day.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I have no issue with that. So
I don't want you to act like you have to be humble around. What do you have that I don't have?
Okay, and I don't necessarily know if it's a personal. Well, it probably is a little bit. Yeah. So what we do, it's called residential habilitation, and most people might know it as like a group home, right? There's group homes in certain states. A group home is where you have individuals with special needs, you know, handicap, maybe it's autism, Down syndrome, all sorts of epilepsy, whatever, right? And we basically provide, and it's a little different than a group home. It's not actually a group home, but that's the name people know, right? And so, but residential habilitation, it's 24-hour care, and we're helping take care of these individuals. We provide staffing around the clock. We provide housing. We help with their medications. We help with their finances and stuff like that, right? And so the reason why I'm in it is because I have two siblings with special needs.
Oh, okay.
I have, my youngest brother is pretty severe. He's nonverbal, autistic. I mean, he's 27. He's not potty trained. He's highly behavioral. And my parents are older, right? And they're retired. And I got to thinking, like, oh man, these guys, because they just don't have the energy to take care of him. He was living at home, and I was like, I could take care of him, but that's pretty hard on me, and or maybe I wouldn't do the best job, or my family, I should say, right? And so I'm like, we need a better long-term option where I know he would be taken care of.
Dude, talk about passion.
Yeah,
That's how they scale businesses. Have that amount of purpose. Yeah. Like, to take care of your brother is a big enough purpose to kill all dragons in your way. You know. Sure. So that is pretty neat. So that's why you're doing it, because you have a direct desire to help your brother.
Yeah.
And so now, I guess it's why this means, are we, instead of doing anything else for him, let's say if it's your brother, why wouldn't you supply him a vehicle to drive? You could get into building vehicles or scooters that he could drive.
Yeah.
And you can get into Neuralink to fix his brain. You can get into whatever you wanted to help your brother.
Yeah.
Right? So we figured out why that, but why, I guess why.
Well, I'll just be honest about it, and these programs are pretty state specific. Utah's is different than Arizona's different. I know they all have kind of their own model, right? But it's paid by the state. And being upfront and honest, I feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm helping them, but the money's also good. You know, just again being honest about it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good
So
reimbursement
that's
rate.
why this.
Yeah, that's why
literally
this.
why
And
this.
and there's a downside as well in that it is a state funded program, and the state could cut it at any time. Like if they cut Medicaid, they had a 4% Medicaid cut like 4 months ago. They're talking about cutting Medicaid again. So it's a lot of it's out of my hands, and which is why we're still going to diversify and do some other businesses. But it's not just because with insurance, you know, the money's good, but I didn't wake up just like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to go. You know, even if I save someone $300 or $400 on auto policy, I'm like, it felt good for a second, and then it would go away, and it's like, who's next? You know, this is like I'm literally I'm changing these individuals' lives, and it's really hard to be a negative person. You were talking about positivity earlier. And a woe is me, because I've had trials in my life, whether it's divorce or, you know, family, health, sickness, death, or whatever. And I think because of like social media nowadays, a lot of people are, and maybe it's selfishness, maybe it's just the time we're in, self-reflecting, but they get negative or down on themselves and how life sucks. It's really hard to be negative and like down on yourself when the person you're talking to every day, like, they have seizures, they're blind, you know, or they're in a wheelchair. It's like, if I come in and I think like that, I'm like, man, I'm really a POS, because here I am complaining about my life. This guy can't even walk.
Yeah.
You know, and he's so happy. The guy that can't walk's happy, and I'm complaining about my life.
That reminds me, so that's a humility lesson, that's amazing. That reminds me of this thing that, you know, those things where people were like, you're making $100,000, and then the boss is like, or the employee's like, no way you're making $10,000, you know, or whatever. It ends by saying, "Oh, you guys get paid," you know.
Yeah.
So there's this thing where it's like it shows someone walking, and someone come driving past on a bike, and the guy walking says, "If only I had a bike."
Yeah.
You know, and then the car passes, and it's like, "If only I had a car."
Yep.
And then the Lamborghini passes, "If only I could afford a sports car." And then the helicopter flies over, and it's like, if only I could have a helicopter, my life would be completely better.
So it's like, what's the lesson? To be grateful for what we have. You know, you can continue to be a hard worker and still want more, but focus on what we have.
Gratitude. Oh my goodness. Gratitude will turn anything we already have into plenty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So now we know
the why.
Why me?
Yep.
It's your brother.
Yep.
You're saving.
Yep.
Why this? It's
my passion.
It's you like changing his life.
Yep.
And it's the biggest majority of his life you could change.
And I'll say the staffing, right? Because we have 70 plus employees, and changing their lives too, right?
Okay.
So it's like we're helping them, that clientele, and a lot of these people, sometimes their first job or second job, you know, or maybe they didn't go to college or whatever, or you know, not always in the best situation. The more we can help make lives better, the better it is for us.
Yeah, and that goes back to, do you remember my purpose?
Yeah.
What was it?
Everyone wake up happy.
Okay.
And
no, finish it.
Was it have a purpose? Am I getting it wrong?
You got you're definitely.
I
It's
got
definitely
there,
tracking.
right?
It's definitely tracking. But
yeah.
My purpose in life is to inspire everyone that I interact with.
That's right.
To wake up excited in life and go to bed fulfilled.
That's right. Go to bed fulfilled. Okay.
All right. So
which I think is great. I think that's great.
And you're doing it for your people. You're literally doing it for your employees. Yeah. Every day you're sitting there thinking, how can I take better care of my employees?
Yeah.
How can I take better care of my staff so that they will take better care of my clients, so that the clients will take better care, like so they can have the maximum experience, right?
Right.
So why now? Why not when you were 20? Why not when you wait till you're 60?
You know, I've asked myself that because Spencer and I, we were working together at the same place that kind of did a similar thing before this. We were trying to buy the owner out of that, and it was the same industry. And I told him, I'm like, dude, maybe, I don't really have regrets, but I'm like, if we could have changed something, I was like, I wish we would have started this a year ago. Honestly, I probably wish we would have started it a year or two ago, but I will say there was something about doing it for so many years and the relationships we built, the connections we made, everyone we worked with came to know who we were as people, that we cared, that we were ethical, and that we were going to do whatever we could to do what was right. And I think the time building that if we would have tried to do it too much sooner, we wouldn't have had that. And that's what made us most successful in this one, because we opened in January of 2025. We'll hit our 1 year mark on the 25th of this month, and we did 1.8 million in gross revenue for the year, right? And so without those connections though, and like that time worked and building that up, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And I'm not saying we're anything amazing. I don't want that to come across as a brag or anything like that, but I just do think that if you do things the right way, it'll come around to you, right?
Yeah, so you don't have to brag to say you have a lot of money, but if the integrity backs it. If you have integrity and you do, like I always think of it this way, money is the byproduct of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
For the right amount of people, the right amount of times.
Yeah.
And so, say you need $100,000, right? All you got to do is bless so many people so much that, I mean, my plan is to just continue blessing until people are knocking my door down on how to pay me, how to donate, how to bless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look at a guy like Tony Robbins. He doesn't get on stage and say, buy my Porsche.
Yeah, sure.
You could count on one hand how many, in fact, probably an amputated hand, how many times he gets on stage and says, come to the next year.
Sure, yeah.
He literally says, hey, spend a minute, research this event, and see if it's right for you.
Yeah.
And his whole staff around him are selling it constantly.
Yeah.
They're doing ads on Facebook. They're doing ads on the internet everywhere. And the people that go to him, free advertisement, because the experience is phenomenal.
They're the real sales people, I guess. But I was just going to add something like a constraint that I had when I was a younger entrepreneur is I had and a lot of people feel this way, of you have a money constraint, right? Of if I only had this much money, like in my bank account, I would go and start this business, right? That's a limited mindset. You have to change that mindset. It's a constraint on your own progress, is what I learned kind of the hard way over time. Is there's money out there everywhere. There's if you came to me and was like, hey JD, can I get whatever $10,000 right now or $20,000? Even if I didn't have it, I know people that have that money. People have money lying around that they want to put to work for the right person that's honest and ethical and is hardworking, right? And everyone that's listening to this will be the same way. If they don't have the money in the bank account, but they're a hard worker and they're ethical and they have a product or plan, I guarantee you everyone knows 5 to 10 people. If they go through their Facebook or their contacts, 5 to 10 people that are wealthy or have money, that if they went to them and asked the right questions or even just got to know them, right? I'm not saying you go straight and just ask for money, right? You want to build a relationship with that person. Ask what you can do for them. Ask how you can learn from them. Tell them that you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to do something, and you just want to ask for some advice or pick their brain on things, right? Build that relationship. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that the money is actually the easiest part of the whole thing.
Oh man, goodness. I'm so young. I'm 23 at the time of recording. And I've already seen this exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
People, and I wrote a Facebook post the other day, I said, when we're young, we are naive to the fact that, or we sit there and truly convince ourselves that if somebody just believed in me as much as I believe in myself, I would literally turn 10 grand into billions of dollars, And then reality hits and it's just like, so did everybody else think that.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that actually do it, very limited.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a big thing. And again, if you have the right integrity and ambition, the money is going to come.
Anything's
Bless
possible.
the people. When you said, if I only had so much money, I was thinking, if I only had 10 grand, I would donate 5,000 of it to a charity.
Mm-hmm.
If I only had 10 grand, I would give it away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, no, you wouldn't.
Mm.
Like people that don't have it don't know what they would do with it.
Yeah.
Until they have
it. That's a good point. Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah. So on your current business, we answered why you, why this, and
why now.
Why now?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. Is there anything you wanted to add?
I maybe just a message to entrepreneurs or like younger entrepreneurs, or if I were to give one piece of advice to someone that was a younger entrepreneur and isn't where they're at, like success-wise, or where they want to be.
Anywhere they don't want to be, or what phase?
I would just say if you're new into business, right?
But how new? Want to start right now, or already a year in?
Let's just say this: you don't have the success that you want yet, right? So that could be very differing for wherever you're at in life, right?
Okay.
My theory is kind of you say yes until you have to say no. And I've kind of lived my life that way. And what I mean by that is there were opportunities or there were chances to do things or even like come into this, right? Think about what you've experienced and who you've met by saying yes to this. And you could have easily said no, right? And it took time and it takes out of your commitments, you know, it takes up your day. But you want to, as a person in business, it's not where you want to be. You have to give yourself, a lot of it is luck, some of it's luck, but a lot of it's just hard work and saying yes to opportunities, right? So if you say yes, yes, and yes until you're so busy or you have so much going on or you're where you're at, you know, in life with success that you have to say no. And that's just kind of my theory on it.
That is such a good point. So the way I word it in my life is the same exact lesson. Luck is when opportunity meets willingness.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I signed up for this, literally it started at 4:30. I had a 4 o'clock meeting, a potential 4 o'clock meeting with a developer that has a $40 million development project, and he wants me to real estate represent.
Nice.
And I called Stu, the guy that hosts this, and I'm like, Stu, I can't commit to a 4:30 show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's too much opportunity 20 minutes earlier.
Right.
Or 30 minutes earlier. I was like, I'm not doing it. And Stu says, as the host of this event, I recommend you kill that deer that's sitting right in front of you and then come and find some potential ones eventually.
Yeah.
You know? So first lesson I learned from Stu, literally never knew the guy we talked on the phone for an hour before this. And he taught me my first lesson. Catch the opportunity sitting right in front of you and then move on to the one that's potentially in the future.
Yeah.
I showed up after, and I did it. Mm-hmm. I went to this meeting, $40 million investment deal. And we're starting to advertise it soon, but you guys stay tuned for that. But I showed up to this at 4:30 and met 3 people that sold a business for more than $30 million. Mm-hmm. One of them for $51 million. Like, I met people from all over the country that were just like the most random stories that got them where they're at. You know, I met the #1 Ninja Warrior guy, and he's the most down-to-earth, genuine, funny guy there is on the whole planet. So it's opportunities, like you were saying. Pick up on opportunities. And when you say yes, I said yes to turn on the camera. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to do me any good. But if I do it enough times, I'm pretty sure that one of them is going to be.
I was going to say, you're I don't know what your barrier is it successful? But to me, even if you had one contact that came from turning on the camera, that brought you a deal or brought you in contact with another person, I'm like, that's successful. Not successful, but again, that's progress towards where you want to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, more money. So in my desire to inspire everyone I meet to wake up in the morning super excited about life and go to bed fulfilled, I need money to produce that. I need money to network with people. I need money to touch their lives. I need money to give them free stuff, to believe in them. Anything I need money for. So therefore I'm working for money so that I can share it with people who are less fortunate so that they can wake up excited. I mean, I talk to people who don't have anything to live for. And it is really hard for me because now I can't hang up. I'm committed. I'm committed because I came into contact with them. They need to wake up excited and they need to go to bed fulfilled. That's 2 things that have to happen before I can successfully call my story done.
Okay, yeah.
And if they're too low, obviously I have to write it off. You know, I don't have anything to do about it. But I need money to do that, and so I chase money.
Yeah.
And people think I'm lying, but I give away money. So that's proof I'm going to keep giving away money. I love doing it. It blesses people.
Yeah.
You know, this morning I hit $50 up on a hike I went on, and some young child literally found it on the hike an hour later with the biggest grin on their face.
Oh, that's
ever.
Cool. That's cool.
And their parents posted a photo of it, and I'm just like, that's full satisfaction. I literally made that person. They will go to sleep fulfilled today.
Huh.
You know, the parent and the child, they're going to be stoked about life.
Yeah.
Not because it's $50, but it's because of the community and the treasure hunt.
Right.
You know, the desire to do something.
Well, they'll probably remember that forever.
Yeah.
You know, they'll give them happiness for a long, long time. They'll tell everyone they know.
Yeah.
So that's sweet.
So anyway, is that the last thing you wanted to wrap up with?
Yeah, that's fine. But
Thank you.
There's another guest in the room.
Hey, you're next, Anna. You want to do it?
Ryan just came in, so we're going to go down.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
man.